Okay. Good evening, everybody. I want it to be an interactive section. If you're there, let me see you say or hear you say something. Okay, please unmute yourself.
Good
and say
evening.
something.
Good evening, Mentor Peace.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll start as we wait for others. Okay, this is Maths Made Easy with Teacher Peace. The intention or aim of this class is to make us see maths from a different point of view and make our classroom different from what we used to have, or change the concept at which, or change the eye or the look at which we are seeing maths. Some of us have been seeing maths like one big monster, maths like hard nuts, maths like one difficult subject that cannot be approached, and it even transcends. I have a parent that would say, is it math assignments? You know now, you know what your teacher said you should do, go and do it. But when it comes to another assignment, they will guide their children to do it. But when it comes to maths, they will always use this language. Okay, you understand what your teacher said you should do now, and you go and do it. So it means that maths, the phobia or the fear for mathematics started from somewhere. And this class is aimed at making us parents, teachers, school educators, school owners see maths from different points of view and change our narrative and how we bring in maths to our children so that the next generation would appreciate maths in a better way. I know that joining this class, you've had questions in your heart like, why are my students performing poorly in mathematics? Why do I feel maths is a difficult subject? Or why do some students fail even after they have felt they studied, and they will still see themselves when it's exam time, they will not perform to their ability or what they are capable of doing. They will not see themselves doing it in the exam hall. Or why do even some fall sick when it's math time? Like when you hear math exam, it will be like, I'm feverish, I'm sick. Or why do teachers get irritated in classroom? This is one easy thing, or this is one popular thing that is common among teachers. You know, math teachers, you don't ask them question, they get so irritated. Don't you understand? What is it that you don't understand this simple thing? When students ask them question, they get so irritated and they feel that I've explained and explained, and they don't know how best to explain the concept of mathematics. Okay, this class is going to be putting lights or eliminating our part on that, to that effect. Okay, let's talk about English. English on its own is a kind of compulsory subject, just like mathematics. Let's talk about it. English. How was it presented in the past? How did students perform better in English? And seeing maths now as something different. Okay, I want us to answer. In the past, how many of you English reader, English textbook, Macmillan, Better English, Day by Day, you had them, you saw pictures, right? We saw pictures on them, didn't we? You remember the picture of Simbi? Tell me one picture you remember in your English textbook in those days in primary school. I want us to answer. Hello? Okay.
I remember Simi goes to school.
Okay, Simbi goes to school. Uh-huh. Do you remember the person that lives in Talaba? You remember, it's like you read Macmillan, that's Simbi Goes to School.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay. But you also used understanding mathematics those years. Do you remember any picture or anything that became child friendly in mathematics at all? Anything you can remember in your maths understanding mathematics textbook? Is there anything you can remember
I remember algebra.
in primary school?
Oh, in primary school. No,
Maths
no, no.
text.
In secondary school, I remember algebra.
Algebra is not a picture. Is there any
Oh,
pictorial
okay. You mean like
explanation?
pictorial? No, I do not.
Yes, pictorial
No.
explanation that
Maybe
made maths child friendly. Do you remember any?
maybe
No, I don't.
sets, but I don't know if sets was taught in primary school.
Set is not a
Sets.
primary school topic. All we are saying now is the concepts we learned in secondary school.
Okay.
Hmm.
Set is secondary school topic. That's from SS1.
Yeah, but
Okay.
in primary school they used images like oranges, and maybe they could show you 2 oranges plus 3 oranges and tell you what will be the sum.
Okay. 2 oranges plus 2 oranges. What will be the sum of them? Okay. And counters too.
Yeah,
They use
counted as well.
counters.
Yeah.
I remember they told us to bring all these nuts that has a tiny, tiny seeds. We
Mm-hmm.
used to have pack of counters. Okay. But now, I'm not sure children of these days carry counters to school. I doubt. Because I think I have them here. I can't hear them saying they say we should bring counter. Okay. So this is the exact difference between numeracy and literacy. English language is being presented in such a way that it becomes child friendly. The children grow with it, they sing with it. You remember this song, There Are Two Little Blackbirds Sitting on the Wall. And we remember as I was going to the window to say, How do you do? And he shook his little tail and away he flew. All those rhymes. In those days, they were rhymes even till now. Literacy had a lot of child-friendly activities like rhymes. Their textbook has pictures, child-friendly. You know, when the children are reading, they are seeing the pictures. It becomes so real to them and it becomes part of them. A child can easily speak English even before they start writing it. They are speaking well already because they have sang with it, they've seen it, they've appreciated it. But when it comes to the world of numeracy, numbers, it looks so abstract. The storyline behind mathematics, the stories we are telling about mathematics, it's looking abstract. We are not bringing it to real life. We are not making this story feel like something like a student will always say, I'm going to, why disturb my head with mathematics when I'm going to be a lawyer? I don't need maths. Like, that's what they say. And some students will even say, since I graduated from secondary school, I have not used a simultaneous equation to cook soup. Or, they make funny, funny comments like that. They will say X and Y that we've been looking for in secondary school. I've not used it for anything it has not benefited me since I graduated. That is making maths to look abstract. And this is the mistake every common secondary school teacher, primary school teacher, every common teacher makes in mathematics. We always present maths as one abstract topic and irrelevant per se. Because when they leave school, the whole thing you flogged them about, the whole thing you nagged about, you get so pissed off about. I can't see any child saying I like my math teacher. Or if you sample students and say, which of your teachers do you like best? I've not seen any teacher saying I like my math teacher or I appreciate my math teacher. It's rare. It's rare to see such a math teacher should be awarded. So, but you see them making comments about their other subject teachers. It's because of the way math has been presented. So now the question is, what then should we do to change this narrative? What are we going to do? Or should it continue like this? I'm asking us, is it supposed to continue like this? Are we supposed to keep teaching maths like in the olden days where children are boxed and made to understand that 2 plus 2 is 4? Whether they understand it or not, 2 plus 2 is 4. A parent was saying that the child will never believe him. Was telling the child that 3 plus 1 is 4. The child said, Daddy, no, it's 2 plus 2 that is 4. The child said 3 plus 1 is 4. He said, Daddy, 2 plus 2 is 4. My teacher said it's 2 plus 2 that is 4. They even brought out counters. The man counted 3, 1, counted together 4. The child said, no, Daddy, is not like that. The child separated it 2 and 2, 4. Do you see the problem? I think the problem here is now the making maths. The maths did not enter. Like, we didn't feel at home with that topic. So, and this is exactly how mathematics has always been to our learners. Whatever we say, they believe it and they go on with it. If you say that 2x plus y is 10, they don't even know how it's come about. They will just say, okay, they will cram it 2x plus y equal to 10. Anywhere they go, they present it like that. And you see most of them graduating well because they are good at absorbing whatever we give them. And that is why at the end of the day, they will graduate and say, since I graduated, I don't know what I've used algebra to do in my office. I've never used algebra to do anything. So I think today we are going to be looking at how do we do these things? How do we change this narrative? The best thing to do is to bring maths as human being to our class. Mathematics should be seen as a person in the classroom. Somebody will say, how? How would maths become a person in the classroom? When you're teaching any subject, make illustrations with the children. Just like English, we say Simbi, they personalize it, they call names, they cite the cities. Simbi lives in this place, and he goes to this school. They can relate the name of school with the name of community, with the name of a city, with the name of a person. That is also how maths should be brought into classroom as a person. So if maths should be brought into classroom, it means we should tell stories, make a storyline around every mathematics topic, every concept you want to teach, make a storyline about it. If you want to teach addition, let there be a story that shows that maybe James had 7 oranges and James traveled all the way from Ogbogonogo with the 7 oranges and gave the brother when he got to the city of this, and he gave the brother 3 oranges. James now had this left. That is how to bring the concept of maths home as a person in the classroom. Let maths become a person, personalize it, let it have a name in classroom. It's not only in primary school. It cuts across all level. At their concept, at their level, when you're teaching any concept, let there be a storyline. Because even in senior secondary, English textbooks still have pictures, English textbooks still have stories at their level that arrests their interest or that talks about their peculiar challenges. In senior secondary, talk about addiction and the effects of drugs and all that. It's still their own selling English at their own level. You cannot start saying Simbi in senior secondary, but they have their concept. So that is also how maths should also come alive at every section. If you want to teach something like circle theory, it should come alive. If you want to teach a concept like set, it should come alive. Funny enough, math textbook nowadays try solving word problems. They have word problems where they try to bring math to class like real life, but I think the foundations they've missed the foundational level of it. Children, or better still, teachers did not arrest these children at foundational level, where they could understand the concept of world problem, world challenges, and bring it to real life. Know that okay, use their name. If you have Ade in the class, you say Ade has, instead of using the abstract name that they are not familiar with, maybe your region, you're in a, let me say, Hausa region, and you're talking of a name, you're talking of Ken and all that, English name Eric. Why don't you use a name that they have among them? You can say Musa, Usman. If it's in the, let me say, Eastern region, you can use a name, Obi, use a name that they are familiar with. Instead of using that name that you're seeing in the math textbook, bring it as them, as if that thing is happening in the classroom. Sharing of the oranges is happening in the classroom. Let them see it, and you're reading the word problem and you're bringing it to life. So that when you now get to angle of elevation and depression in a secondary school level, they will also understand that, okay, we have met this, we have met this. So when we now say an aeroplane flies on the direction and this one was looking at, they have already gotten a mental image of how those things could be. But if nothing like that is done, you see that maths will become an abstract topic and keep being a problem. It gives me deep concern when parents don't understand mathematics and they can't help their children. What else can we do? We can use packs of cards. We know what, right? We know what. That's cards. Ayo, Lido, all those things. We can use it. You know that Lido seed, the Lido template, it counts in groups of 6. We can use that Lido to count in groups of numbers. We can use that Lido to teach colors and shapes. We can use that Lido to teach skip counting. You can see a student is very good at playing Lido seed or Lido game. Students are not counting, but he knows that when he tosses dice and gets a 6, he knows where to place his 6, even without counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He knows where to place his 6 from where he was. It shows that that child has already known something. So we build on an existing knowledge. Most of these children can play cards very well. They know pick 2, general market. You can use it, bring it to class. Depending on, you can use it to do so many things. You can use it to do counting in groups, even numbers, odd numbers. We can use it to do skip counting, multiples. We can use it to do division in our classes. So let's bring game to class. Stickers, they are very important concepts. In those days, we do bundles of counters. When you're teaching place value, you bring bundles of counters, or you bring bundles of matchstick. Even in binary, teaching binary, you can use matchstick because it's base 2. You can use matchstick to count in groups of 2s and use it to teach the concept of binary. Bring these things to class. When you're not bringing them to class and everything we are doing about mathematics ends on the whiteboard, we are the solution. We are not providing solutions here. People are not getting it. The children, and that's why it keeps being boring. Math class is so abstract. Students will be like, some of them have even given up. When it's math time, they will not call you as a teacher. Some math teachers in secondary school, they will skip their time. They will say, these children are not serious. They didn't even call me. They don't used to call me to class. Because it's not interesting to keep losing our students' interest. And that is how they will grow to parents that are afraid of helping their children solve math assignments. So I think we should look into it. Teachers at this point, school owners of school at this point, should encourage their teachers to bring math to class. Instructional materials, very important when you are teaching any concept in mathematics. Most of our textbooks, I know of New Concepts, Essential, even MAM, they used to write instructional materials to be used. If you think you don't know how to use those instructional materials, you can go online. YouTube has even made many of these things easier for us. You can go online. How do I use this instructional material to teach this topic? And you will see 1,001 ways to use those instructional material to teach those topic. When you're teaching pie charts, when you're teaching statistics, do games, play games that will bring statistics home. Play games. You say a three probability, three blue balls in a bag, four yellow balls, and a student was asked to pick at random. These are things we can dramatize. These are things we can dramatize. Getting a blue, yellow, red ball, it's not far. A prefect was to be chosen at random in a class of 14 girls and 16 boys. These are things we can actually dramatize when teaching probability, but we don't dramatize them. We just teach it as concepts. And when the students fail, we'll blame them. We'll say, oh, after all the things we have done throughout the term, they did not impress me and all that. But if probability is being taught, dramatizing it, okay, we want to select a prefect from this class now. Now, a student come out, you now blindfold the student. You're not choosing your friend, you don't know who you're choosing. Or you're going to bring a prefect for us. Now, you now choose. What's now the probability that that person you touch is a girl or is a boy? We now talk about it. That I'm not sure students would ever forget that kind of drama when we use drama to teach probability. But to always teach it as a concept. They are in a city of 20, in a hall of 30 adults and all that. We don't make it real. We don't bring it in. So I hope that after today, teachers in the house and school owners, our concept about maths and how we bring it to our children will change. Let there be real life application of the concept of mathematics. Application of concept of mathematics. If there are topics you feel that you don't know applications to, how to apply it or how to bring it through, even after this class, you can come to my DM and ask, "Yeah, I want to teach this topic. How do I bring it through to classroom? How do I make the children understand? What are the instructional materials you think I can use to make it real to the students? Build on what they have known and bring it in such a way that they will play around what you're doing." Imagine you now blindfolding a child and say, go and pick a prefect. Of course, the class is already lively. You see the enthusiasm when he's working on blindfold and all that, and you tell them that this is exactly what it means by probability, picking at random, with or without replacement, depending on the level you're teaching. So let's bring mathematics to classroom as human. I've said that part. And let's use games. Let's use games. I have math games that would also, this my game here. We can do this game with Lido Seed. Lido Seed is what we use to play this game. I want to share the game on the screen. You can use Lido Seed to play this game. And this game, we have it for all classes, all level, from primary to, I think we have up to junior secondary. From primary to junior secondary, you use Lido Seed, and it's comprised of what they have learned from first term, second term, and third term. So, sorry, I don't know. I wanted to share the screen of that game. Okay. Okay. When you use those games, it's one thing. It's also one thing that happens is that the children get interested, and they tend not to forget what you have taught on the long run. Keep your students busy. with activities that sharpens their brain. I used to say that mathematics is a real life problem solving skill. I encourage students when they tell me that after the secondary school I will not do maths again. I say if you don't learn maths, if you don't appreciate maths, you tend to commit suicide when you're faced with life challenges. And it's true. Maths, the part of the brain that mathematics sharpens is not just your prefrontal cortex, but your medulla. That part that takes vital decisions. That part that will either tell you to run or to stay in face of challenges. That is the part that mathematics sharpens. So if anybody that it's phobia for maths, anybody that has not appreciated the world of mathematics, you see that that person will have a very poor level of thinking when it comes to problem solving. They get so depressed, they don't know how to get out of their problem. So that is one reason why children should be encouraged to love and solve mathematics. Appreciate it as a skill. It's a skill that you acquire to help you solve not just math problem now, but general life problem. I told my students a story. I say, we are traveling in a bus. I made a storyline. I say, we are traveling in a bus. All of us had gunshots. The first thing that occurred to someone's mind was to lie down. Because, of course, we've all had gunshots. He lay down and pretended to have been shot. Then every other person in that vehicle was commanded, say, come down, come down, come down. They all came down and they made away with them. They kidnapped them. Then that person lay down still, formed lifeless inside the bus. When they entered, they said, this one, you don't shoot them, don't die. They made away with others. They went, they kidnapped them, and they all paid ransom. That one that pretended to have died woke up, opened his eye and saw that they've gone and ran away. What helped him? At that point of gunshot, something has been activated in his head. And what is it? The skill he has learned before that time. You cannot learn a skill in the midst of challenge. The person's brain had been working before that time of the gunshot. Many people had the gunshot. Some people, their mind would say, run. Some other persons, their mind will say, stay still, close your eye. Some other persons, their mind will say, die. Yes. Some persons, when they are faced with life challenges, all that could come to their mind is drink sniper and die. Why am I living? That is what could come to their mind. But this other person, the brain, acted faster and say, as long as there had been a gunshot, they should expect casualty. So what do? Form as if I'm dead. And he formed dead. And they kidnapped others, he wasn't kidnapped. So that is the part. That's ability to think. You have so many ways. Just as mathematics has so many ways to solve it. There are so many formulas, so many methods. That is also how you have so many options out of life's challenges. But which of them could you reason out at a particular time or at a point in time? Which of them were you able to reason out? That is, you know that you've developed that problem solving skill. But if at a face of challenge, all a child could reason is to cry, then you know that that child have not yet developed that skill. All a child knows to do is to get angry and go and sleep. You know that that child is still developing that skill. So teachers and school owners, I beg us to help our children develop this life problem solving skill. Help them understand that mathematics is not just a world of numbers where you live. In fact, maths is even everything you do. A pair of shoe you wear, pair of trousers you put on. It's calculations. How do you measure it? You cannot just go and carry your daddy's trousers and start wearing. There was a measurement that made that one you're wearing to fit you. It's still mathematics. How far you traveled before you come to school is still mathematics. So when they are feeling like I don't need maths ever in my life, you make them understand that everything, our world revolves around calculations and critical thinking. So let's help our children have this concept, because it's every child, it works consciously and unconsciously. If we don't help our children in this area, we'll keep having this problem in our generation. And it's not a good one at all. Keep having parents that will say, which assignment did they give you? Okay, Balajaya, bring it. Okay, what did they say you should do? Oh, yeah, let's do it. But when it comes to which assignment did they give you? Maths. Oh, you know what your teacher said you should do now? Oh, yeah, go and do it. You know that parent has lost it, and the child is almost about to lose it still. So I don't want us to raise children or another society of persons that would not be appreciating maths as a life problem solving skill. So God will help us. I wouldn't know if there are any questions in the house. The floor is open now. Mute yourself. Bring in your take, your questions. Where do you think we should have touched? Or what were your expectations? Somebody raising hand. Okay. Okay. The floor is open. Please, Auntie Ife, can you help me share that game on the screen?
Oh, okay. Just give me a moment, please.
Okay.
Oh, it says that only the host can share screen.
Um, okay, what I'm seeing here, I saw share screen and I did.
Okay, let me just send the image to the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I've sent it to the chat now.
Okay. So are there questions? Are there things you needed clarifications? Ms. Shama, you're welcome. You're on and off. See your network. Okay, somebody is raising up now.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead, Mr. John.
okay, yeah. So my question is, so now that we're in the age of AI, which is kind of making most people lazy, I'm just wondering how the experience is for students. So when you go to school and you're teaching these kids mathematics these days, do they try to use these AI tools to assist them in learning, or I'm kind of wondering how to put my
Okay,
question, but yeah, I'm just trying to understand
okay.
how learning in school these days work.
This is it works. Okay, okay. I would say that when it comes to giving of assessments, assessing and evaluations, especially the ones that goes on, you will find out that most of our children are even ahead of us, I would say. Most of the times when we are marking, I would say AI answer. Go and repeat. Go and sit down and repeat. You see that AI per se, it's not trying to help them now, because the truth is that they didn't understand the concept, the presentation, the way at which we present this math concept. It's becoming outdated. That's just the truth. It's becoming so outdated. So, and it's not fitting into what these children are needing now. So when we tell our boring stories and give our boring assignments, let me so to say, because I assume that everybody here, there is no student here. I mean, everybody here is school owner or teachers. When we are done with our boring stories and our boring presentations and give them assignments, we expect that they understood what we said. By the time they are giving you the answers, you'll see that they generate these answers. And for the fact that they are still young minds, they don't even know how to filter what AI gives them. They will write it exactly the way they generated it. So both the interpretation, everything, they will just put it down like that. So what we should now do as teachers is to upgrade. Most of us are analog migrants, so we should embrace the change. We should embrace the change we have seen ourselves into, because most of these kids we are looking at, we are teaching in our classrooms, are far, let me say, digitalized more than us. They are AI children. So we should also get the concept that suits this current generation. That is why I say, let maths come real. Look into the world we are, look into their own world, and use the language, their own terms and their own languages to teach them. We should stop doing what we used to do in textbook. Just copy examples from textbook, put it on the board, the word problem from. We can modernize these word problems. We can actually change it to fit into their languages. That's what I think we should start doing as teachers and owners of school, so that these children will actually understand what we are saying. When we are telling stories of word problems in mathematics, it looks archaic, it looks outdated. So they don't understand. They will just sit and be looking, and with respect, they will not object you. They will not say anything. Do you understand? Yes, sir. When you now give them assignments, they will go home and give it to you. If you give them classwork, they will still show you what they could. So I think we should embrace the current change. There are so many ways, there are so many new methods of teaching mathematics in this contemporary time. If you go on YouTube, you see many other persons, mentors that are already doing great in the world of mathematics. Any topic you want to teach in maths, you can ask, how do I teach this to age this? You will see so many amazing things that will wow you and will also give you ahead over what you used to know before. I don't know if I've answered your question, sir.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have another question in the chat. I could read it out for you. I don't know if you're looking at the chat, so. So the
Okay.
next question is from Mrs. Choma, and she's asking,
Are there
yeah.
sites? Are there free online sites one can link students to make them fall in love with mathematics? Yes, of course, there are free online sites that students can go. But one thing about most of these sites, and there is an app. One thing about them is they can also answer their assignments. That's one thing. I know an app that once a child just snap his book and send, the next thing is the answer has come and it will just give it to you. So there are free online chats, online sites that students can go to fall in love with mathematics activities. Depending on your classroom, depending on the kind of learners you have, do they have tab? Or can they access their parents' phone? That's also another limitation. So the main part now, or the main thing now, is you adapting to the change, changing your own teaching method first before you now talk about your student. Because if you introduce them to sites, they may not go there depending on your students and your environment. So they may still go there, they may not go there depending on your environment and depending on your students. But the main aim of today's teaching is how you can upgrade yourself as a, would I say, AI Gen Z, a mathematics teacher. Do it in a different way that is not how it's been done in the past, so that your students will fall in love with mathematics. Then when you have seen that you've arrested their interest, you can now start introducing them to other sites where they can fall in love with mathematics. So if you need some of those sites, you can come to my WhatsApp email at the end of the class. Have I answered your question? Okay, mathematics. Of course, Mentor Joseph says no organization starts without the knowledge of mathematics. Of course, everything we do revolves around mathematics, but students don't understand it. So make them understand. Create a storyline that will make them understand. If you want to tell them that baristas need mathematics, you create a story that will make them appreciate and see that it's true that me as a intending barrister, I seriously need to learn maths. Why am I citing barrister, for instance? Our ask students mostly feel that they can do away with maths. Ask students, their own is, abeg, can I just get C6 in maths in WAEC and get out of this place and do away with this concept? So make them understand that there is no organization that can do without the knowledge of mathematics by creating a storyline. I told you the one I created of kidnapping scene, and because the man has enough concept of mathematics, his brain could tell him to perform his dead, and he didn't pay the ransom when others paid. So that is it. It depends on the way you are able to arrest their interest and make them fall in love with it. So, is there still any other question? Any other? No, thank you for that suggestion or that take. I love that. Okay, this is an example of math game that your children can play. This one I think is for grade 1. Is play it with dice. You get a assist to start and all that. You can use it to keep your children busy when they are making noise. Instead of shouting, keep quiet, rest your head. We have it from grade 1 to just 3, this game. So you can use it to keep your student busy, and it's comprised of all the topics we've met at that level. Okay. So in the absence of no other question, I want to hand over to my able madam. Auntie Faye?
Thank you so much, Mentor Peace, for this detailed and very interesting class. I learned a lot, and thank you everybody for joining. It was really amazing having everyone here. The pre-recorded class is going to be available on Mentor Peace dashboard under this course, so we can always check it out. If you want a replay, and for others that they were not able to make this class, the link will be out. Once it is uploaded, we will announce, and then everybody can watch the replayed version. Thank you so much. for joining. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Bye.
And
Bye.
you too, my bye.
Bye. Bye.